Do not pay a bar fine. You do not need to pay a bar fine. Please do not pay a bar fine. You can take out almost any girl in any bar in Asia. I've been to hundreds of bars in Subic Bay, Philippines, Manila, Philippines, Bangkok, Thailand, and Pattaya, Thailand, as well as Soy Cowboy and Nana Plaza. And all of these places, you do not need to pay a bar fine to take out a girl. Yes, in the beginning, as a noob, as someone new to the bar scene, where girls are often bar fined, you may pay a few bar fines. I did, but if you want to learn how to not pay a bar fine, then a little practice, a little patience goes a long way. And I realized early on, I lived in Asia for 2 years in the Philippines as a military officer. I realized going to a bar a couple days a week, was going to make me go broke or be able to not save any money. But what I did is I'm generally a loner, so I would go to a bar by myself without friends. And I think that helps. So you get to know the lady you like, or you get to know, a couple ladies, but you need to be careful. And I'll explain that later. But anyhow, you get to know her over the period of, at least an hour, maybe a couple hours. And then generally what I would do is just say, look, I don't have a lot of money this week. I can't pay for your bar fine, but I'm willing to, wait for you to finish work. And if you want to go to your place and just sleep, I'll sleep on the floor with you or whatever. But the idea is to let her know, a little bit about her culture and about you realize she's not rich. Otherwise, why would she be working in a bar? Or maybe she is, but I've never really encountered that. Usually, you go to a small one-room house. If it's lucky, it's got its own bathroom. You may have to take a shower if you want to shower with us scooping a bucket from a bigger barrel of water, so she's not going to live extravagantly. And let her know that, ask her, spend some time, get to know her, ask her, who she is, what are her aspirations, where does she want to go in life, how's her current living, what she likes to eat, what's her favorite movie, whatever. Most girls in bars, the guys come in, they don't give a hoot, they just want to have fun that night and then move on their way. But if you at least act like you want to get to know her, and treat her like a girlfriend, not a bar fine. Just treat her nice, and maybe a few words of her language would go a long way. Let her know you enjoy, a couple of the popular dishes in the local region. Get to know her country or her provinces or her locations within her country or the different regions. Just get to know her, get to know her for an hour or maybe two and just say, hey, look, I don't have any money for a bar fine. I can buy a few drinks, tonight. And then I'll just wait for you. And then, 20 minutes before you can leave the bar, I will be, 6 blocks, down the street at McDonald's or whatever. You can just join me there and take me to your house. You'll get on a jeepney, for a few pesos or a tuk-tuk in Thailand for a few baht. And she will proceed to go to her house and take you with her. And yeah, that night, you know, who knows what'll happen, you haven't really approached it as a sexual relationship on the first night. Maybe she expects that working in a bar. I don't know. Some girls, I went home with them, we just slept, or, maybe she had 3 roommates, so all 5 of us would just sleep on the floor. Or she had her own place, and then, yeah, you get whatever you was hoping for free. And that's always a plus, I guess, for the man and the ladies. Some of these ladies, they just love the, what do you call it, exercise or whatever YouTube permits it to be called. I forget the word some guys use on here. I don't know. Anyhow, you know what I mean. I'm not going to say it out loud here on YouTube. But yeah, you can have an excellent night or you can have a romantic night, but you're going to have a night you will remember, for a long time or forever with a wonderful lady you got to know. a little bit. So that's the idea. I mean, you don't even need a hotel room. I've taken the bus from, Subic Bay when I was a military officer to Manila, got off the bus, went to Makati, the bar scene back 40 years ago. And again, I've learned this over years. And yeah, I was a little bit younger back then, but I don't think it matters a whole lot. A lot of these women, they want stability. They don't really want a guy that comes to the bar and can't pay a bar fine, I guess, but they don't mind one either. If he's sincere and loving and he's got some kind of believable excuse, why he's a little low on cash or credit that day. They don't mind. I mean, they'll overlook a lot, especially if you're a guy that doesn't act like a guy coming to a bar where there's pole dancers. If you don't act like that guy and you're a gentleman, you act like you've got somewhat longer term intentions. Now, if you don't know any Thai and you walk into a Thai bar, well, the girls all know some English, so you really won't have that problem. I'm just saying, if you meet a girl somewhere and you don't know any of her language and she doesn't know much of yours, yeah, this is not going to work. But yeah, if you can communicate, I mean, communication is the key. So if you want to meet a girl that you can go anywhere with, or even have one night of fun with at her place, or not fun, or romantic fun, or any type of experience, I highly recommend it. I've slept on many floors. Sleeping on a floor is not that bad. I mean, Americans or Western people are taught you gotta have a nice fluffy mattress. I think the opposite is true. If you sleep on a floor a few times, you get really used to it. It's really comfortable. And in Asia, it's a lot cooler. I mean, you're on a floor. You're not heating up a mattress that's reflecting heat back into your body. You just a fan is all you need. You don't need an air conditioner. So yeah, some of these girls, they'll take you to a place that might be kind of somewhat like a slum. It might be built up on bamboo stilts. It might be in a little bit seedy neighborhood. But if you act no, if you act confident, it's all in your attitude. If you've got the right attitude and you're trying to meet her halfway down to her level, or I shouldn't say down, but halfway across at her level, and you're not surprised by how little she has, or how she lives in a one room house that may have a halfway decent bathroom, and she does her cooking there, her washing there, her dressing, her makeup, her living there. That's that. If you could just relate to that, relate to her, at kind of where she is in her life, and then say, hey, I just don't have a bar fine right now, but I'll come back and we can enjoy some drinks tomorrow or the next day if you mean it. Or, offer to just explore the city with her the next day. Say, can I go to your place? It's free. I mean, you haven't paid a bar fine and you got a free place to stay. I mean, yeah, it might be a little uncomfortable the first few times, but get to enjoy it. I mean, you're in Asia, man. Just get to enjoy it. And Asian ladies, I mean, I think you know by now if you're watching this, Asian ladies, man, they are absolutely wonderful compared to Western ladies. The expectations are really, really realistic. They know how to live and enjoy life with very little. They generally have very, very, very strong personal and family connections to the right people, or to the right foreigner, especially. Um, they're really, really sweet people when you bring them out of the bar. I mean, the trick is to go out of the bar with them. In the bar, it's all an act. Oh, and by the way, this is just some bonus info at this point. If you're going to be in any single place in Asia for for a while, a couple weeks, a couple months, or longer, reputation gets around real quick. I mean, these girls are pros. They might not come across that way, but they've got social media platforms just set up to report on customers and who the customer is or what he looks like, or make it your picture posted, and pretty soon everybody around Soy Cowboy, Bangkok's gonna know your face and who you are and who you went with and how many bar fines you paid, or approximately, or things to that effect. So just keep that in mind. When you walk into a place, you're not walking into one bar. You're walking into that bar and all the bars adjacent and around that immediate region, and even within that, you know, Soy Cowboy or Nana Plaza region, or even all the bars in Bangkok or Pattaya. I mean, these girls are pros. Just remember that they're pros, but they're also sweet people too. And they're all looking for the one guy, that's different, and they can see a future with. No, can it be a little bit bad to come across that way and then just spend one night with them? Yeah, yeah, it can. But that's not what they want. They want your money and they want to send you on your way. But they're also hoping for something longer. And I've met girls where we've had, great 2 weeks of life or whatever. We've traveled around. We've gone to, in Thailand, for example, Chiang Rai, Chiang Mai. Oh, and by the way, if you do that, you don't even need to pay for hotels. In Thailand, there's a strong Buddhist. It's not a religion; it's more a philosophy. Because there was a guy named Buddha, but they don't believe in a Buddha god. But anyhow, this is as far as I know. I'm not an expert at this. A girl can bring you to a temple and talk to the monks and just explain you two don't have money for a hotel and you're just out traveling and exploring. And the monks will find a place either within the temple or an adjacent joining building or compound where they will give you a couple of straw mats that you can roll out and maybe a pillow or two, and you can sleep there for the night and even take a bath and be on your way the next day. So basically, you just need a few dollars for each meal to pay for that, and you can explore a whole country or a big part of a country that way. I did that for a month with not a bar girl, a university girl. I went to Thammasat University in particular. I saw a girl. She kept looking at me and smiling and looking at me. She was shy. So finally, I was having lunch or whatever at the dormitory or the student plaza or whatever that's where the students eat. We call it cafeteria in the West. We would call it a cafeteria, and the food there's like $1. And again, I wanted to go meet some real girls, so I just went there. Had a meal for $1, just sat down by myself, and there was hundreds of girls eating lunch and boys. And one girl just was from, I don't know, 50 meters away, just kept looking at my direction or at me and smiling. And I went over and talked to her. And we ended up, spending the afternoon together. And then later, a different time, I came back and we explored pretty much a big part of southern Thailand. Rode trains, stayed in monastery monks for free, spent the time at Hua Hin Beach, Chatham Beach. We went east to Surin. She was a social bachelor degree student. Went to a bamboo hut on stilts, and these people lived in this bamboo hut on stilts. And I'm not good at meters, but in feet, it was about 10 feet by 15 or 20 feet. And it was a bamboo floor with bamboo walls, with bamboo open windows and a thatched roof. And that was it. And she told me this is her family home. And I'm like, I just sat there. I didn't know any Thai or very little Thai at the time. I had just taken it all in. The one thing I'll never forget was I was at that little village or the city nearby, Surin, Wang Surin. I mean, it wasn't a big city 40 years ago, but we were sitting at a restaurant. I looked at the jam on the table, and it was Smucker's jam. And I'm like, God damn it. Little Smucker's jam condiments way out in the eastern part of Thailand in in a relatively tiny village of Thailand. I grew up near Smucker's in Orville, Ohio, and I'm like, damn, these guys are a damn good advertising machine. And Coca Cola was there. Bangkok had its first McDonald's 40 years ago at Erewhon Plaza. Boy, am I rambling now. So I'm gonna cut this short and provide more videos if I get some likes and follows or some comments. So make it worth my while. I'll share a lot of my journeys. I've got a lot of stories to tell. I've been trying to break them down and write some notes here, but I just prefer to talk from the heart, I don't want to edit these things. There'll never be any AI, and I don't really spend a lot of time making outlines. And when I do, the outline's kind of in my mind at the time. So, anyhow, best to everybody, and hope you enjoy these videos. I know they're not professional, but I've got the background, and I've got what kind of microphone? Boy, a microphone finally. Some people kept complaining there's too much wind in my early videos. Anyhow, take care, everybody. Bye bye.